The Carolina Panthers coming into the 2020 NFL season had expectations to be among the league's worst teams. And things just looked like that as Christian McCaffrey was sidelined for a majority of the year with an injury. But the Panthers finished up the year 6-10, which really was better than most people expected. And today I want to talk about this team, what's next for them, and what I think they should do if they want to have success in the future. But before we do get started, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like button as it really helps out the channel and it shows your support for this content. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you guys are new and enjoy the videos on here so you do not miss out. And I am also trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it would really mean a lot to me if we could reach that goal. These videos do take a lot of hard work to make, and it would mean a lot to see all of that hard work amount to 1K subscribers. And as a special, I will react to my first 2 videos ever once we hit 1K. So if you guys want to see that and enjoy the videos on here, make sure to subscribe. But with that being said, let's just get this video started, man. And let's go open up with the roster. And let's begin with Teddy Bridgewater. And Teddy Bridgewater, he was basically just a filler quarterback for this season. And I don't think he will be the long-term option, as the guy, well, he did have some pretty decent moments. At the same time, he also had some pretty bad moments. This past year, he had 3,733 passing yards, 15 passing touchdowns, completing 69% of his passes. Next up, I want to talk about Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, I'm not going to include any stats here, as the guy did struggle with injury, unfortunately, but I'm sure we all know how good of a player he is when healthy. I mean, the guy is an amazing running the ball, and he's also a good receiving threat. Up next, I want to talk about DJ Moore. DJ Moore just continued another stellar season, as this past season he had 1,193 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, catching 66% of his passes. Whoever the new quarterback of this, or whoever the franchise quarterback of this team is gonna be, they're gonna have a fun time with DJ Moore, as he is just amazing. Up next is Robbie Anderson, and Robbie Anderson is one of the most underrated receivers and players in general in the NFL. This past season, he had 1,096 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and he got 70% of his passes. Bro, sorry about that. Robbie Anderson is just a really underrated player, and I'm surprised the Jets did not bring him back, and I'm surprised he went unsigned for so long, and I'm pretty mad that as a Patriots fan that, we had no weapons, and it really showed again this year, and we did not sign Robbie Anderson. But obviously, I will say I have moved on, but yeah, Robbie Anderson is just amazing. Next up, I want to talk about Curtis Samuel. And Curtis Samuel is not some elite receiver, but he's still a pretty productive and pretty good slot receiver. This past season, he had 851 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and he caught 79% of his targets. Moving to the defensive side of the ball, let's talk about Brian Burns. Brian Burns had a really good year, as he had 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 38 pressures. He's going to be a really big part of this team moving forward. In Carolina, they have something special in Brian Burns. Up next, I want to talk about Derrick Brown, who was their first round pick for the 2020 NFL draft. And he had a pretty decent season, and he was a pretty good run stopper. In this past season, he had 2 sacks and 19 pressures. Next is Jeremy Chinn. Jeremy Chinn, while the guy did have some lows, he was still a pretty good rookie, as he had 2 fumble recoveries, which he returned for touchdowns, and if he improves some things, I guess, in his game, I mean, Jeremy Chinn could be a very good player in the future, and he's going to be a defensive rookie of the year candidate, and while I don't expect him to win it, he's still a pretty good player, as he had 1 interception and 5 passes defended this past season. The final player I want to talk about is Yetur Gross-Matos. Now, he was another one of their draft picks. He was not a first round pick, as all of their draft picks last year were defensive players. It was a pretty weird strategy, but hey, I guess it works. And he had a pretty decent rookie season with 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 12 pressures. He has some decent potential, and I do think he can be a really good player for this team in the future. But with that being said, that's all I really have to say for the Panthers roster, and let's just get into the other stuff. Now, the Panthers, they got a young roster, I will say that. This year, they actually did not do terrible. I mean, they were expected to be like a 4-win team, and not only that, but Christian McCaffrey was missing for most of the year, so they did their best. And Matt Rule, he rallied them to 6 wins. And let me just tell you, Matt Rule is an amazing coach, and Carolina just found an amazing coach and a great leader for this young team. Now, in my mind, the Panthers' next step to just taking the next step, really, as a team, is finding their franchise quarterback. Now, as I said with Teddy Bridgewater, I really just viewed the guy as a failed quarterback for this year. I don't think he's the long-term option. The guy does have some. He just proved that he's really not that good. He's not good enough to be a franchise quarterback. And while PJ Walker did have some great moments this year, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback either. And Teddy Bridgewater, he's just not it. Now, I have seen rumors that the Panthers are going to be a big player in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. And my thoughts on that is, I would not be opposed to making a run at Deshaun Watson. And if they really could, pull it off, and if they can get a good trade package, then definitely go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson. However, one thing they do need to realize and keep in mind is that they will have to give up a lot for Deshaun Watson. So they're going to have to give up like a solid starter. Maybe they give up a quarterback too, plus a lot of draft picks. So I would make a run at Deshaun Watson, but be smart and do not give up too much. As Deshaun Watson, while the guy's inevitably going to cost a lot, you got to know like when is it, at one point are you giving up too much for him? And anyways, on to free agency. The Panthers are going to have only $7 million in cap space this year, but do not worry, Panthers fans. First off, they really only have like one free agent that would really bring back, and that is Curtis Samuel. I'd probably bring him back, as the guy is a pretty big part of their offense. He is not elite, but he is pretty solid. Good news is that you can clear up cap space. Clearing cap space is a thing. First off, cut K1 short, man. The guy has not been productive since 2017, 2018, and I would restructure guys like Teddy Bridgewater and Shaq Thompson. And if you were to restructure Teddy Bridgewater and Shaq Thompson and cut K1 short, you would get $30.5 million in cap space, which it's pretty good, not bad at all. Now, if I'm the Panthers, well, first off, you definitely got to bring in some established talent, as the team is young, and if you want to have success in the NFL, you do need established talent. Now, I would definitely shore up the offensive line, probably maybe get a good tight end, and for sure improve the defense, as that is easily the weak point of this team. Now, some free agent targets could be for the offensive line, could be guys like Joe Thuney and Brendan Scherf, as they do need to improve at the guard positions, and they are pretty good. Jared Cook and Hunter Henry are going to be some good tight end options. Jared Cook, while he is aging, he can provide some veteran leadership, and it's not like he's a bad player. I mean, he's actually a pretty underrated and good tight end. Now, I know he did not exactly have a good NFC divisional round performance, but Jared Cook, I mean, he's a pretty good player. Now, the defense is really where they're going to have to improve. And if you ask, I mean, I have a long list of free agents of who they really should go after to improve that defense. Guys like Bud Dupree, Shaq Barrett, Leonard Floyd, Matt Judon, and Leonard Williams could all be some guys to help improve that pass rush. Now, Matt Judon, from what I've heard, wants like a lot of money, and if he's demanding an entire bank's worth of money, don't go after him, okay? This man is not that good. He's pretty good, but not that good. So I would those are some guys I would go after to improve that pass rush. Now, if you want to improve the secondary, guys like Mike Hilton, Xavier Rhodes, Anthony Harris, Marcus May, Marcus Williams, and Bradley McDougald could all be some very good options for this team. And, I mean, they really do need to improve at the safety position, and the corner position could also use work. And, I mean, letting go of James Bradberry, I mean, at the time, the guy was just a solid quarterback, but James Bradberry, I mean, the guy just blossomed into an amazing corner, and that was not a good move, but hey, they can definitely correct it if they can bring in some of these guys. Now, obviously, no doubt they are not getting all of these guys, but I would definitely make a run at these free agents. You know, some of these guys you should probably make a run at and, you know, clear up cap space. Now, next up, I want to talk about the draft. They will own the 8th pick in this year's draft, assuming they don't trade for someone like Deshaun Watson. And if you ask me, I see them taking their quarterback of the future, or if they really feel like it, improving the defense. Now, some guys they could go after in the draft could be guys like Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields to help find their quarterback of the future. Justin Fields, I don't know if he's available at number 8. Maybe there's a chance he does fall down there, and I would definitely take a chance on him if he's there. Zach Wilson maybe he does fall. Who knows what happens? Definitely go after him if he's still there. But Trey Lance to me is probably the most realistic quarterback that falls to them at 8. If they want to improve the defense, then maybe a guy like Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley or Micah Parsons could help, improve that defense if they were, those are some guys I would definitely go after with that 8th pick. And if they want to select a quarterback in the later rounds, someone like Mac Jones or Kyle Trask could be available. But yeah, if I'm the Panthers, I'd take my quarterback of the future if there's a good prospect available. If not, I guess improve the defense. And to really wrap things up, the Carolina Panthers, they got a really bright future ahead of them. They got a really young roster with some pretty good talent. And Matt Rule, he's just an amazing coach. And if they can find their franchise quarterback, and improve that defense, they could easily win the NFC South next year. As if you ask me, it should be wide open for the most part. The Buccaneers should be the clear-cut winner. But who knows? If they make the proper improvements, maybe they make the playoffs. But with that being said, that will be the end of today's video. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you guys enjoyed, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here, as I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean a lot to me if we could reach that goal. Also, so you don't miss out on any new videos. And as a special, I will react to my first 2 videos ever. So if you guys want to see that and enjoy the content on here, make sure to subscribe. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.